Hi, everybody, and welcome to an ARC review. This is A Mother's Guide to the Apocalypse by Holly Overton. This book comes out on August, 19th. It comes out on a Tuesday this week, and it's very, very soon. So hopefully I put up this video in time. If not, I apologize, but I did read it on time. This is a very interesting novel. I haven't quite read anything like it before, so it has that going for it. We start off the book with our character of, I believe her name is Olivia, and she is I'm sorry, I stopped petting, my bad. She is a former, big shot producer in Hollywood, but gives birth to triplets, identical triplets, and starts having so bad anxiety that she becomes kind of a doomsday prepper, but because there are a lot of signs that things are going wrong in the world, she feels very validated, and she is incredibly validated because devastation does strike the globe. I don't know if it's fully the globe, but there is a big quake that affects the United States, and excuse you, the United States does collapse in this story. So it really followed through on a bit of the apocalypse, but in a much more not relevant, but like a really realistic way that it would collapse and then rebuild. I did like seeing that aspect of this and not being like a full post-apocalyptic Mad Max Fury Road situation. Although I would say there's a little bit of that in this, but it's not fully collapsed. There is a rebuild. There's a reconstruction. There is a new country called New Pacific later on. But the mom is presumed unalived. She has a fight with her husband and goes off, and there is this horrible landslide, and then the quake happens. And so the father of the three triplets just gets them out and moves back to the UK where he is from. He was like a pro golfer or something, I guess. And they didn't hear anything from mom ever again, so she is presumed dead. And so the sisters grow up. It's been like 20 years since that happened, and all three have grown up. So we have Betty, Rosie, and Cassie are the three daughters who have grown up, and they are now taking care of their father, who is in his mid-50s but is diagnosed with it's funny because I work at a place now. It's not like you have dementia, but you experience symptoms of dementia, and so he's experiencing that. And so Cassie is kind of the responsible one who always takes care of dad. We built these greenhouses in the effort to help rebuild and restructure how life is. Rosie is kind of the gung-ho, I'm going to figure things out, and finds out that their mother's best friend has contacted them with possible answers of what has happened to mom. And then we have Betty, and she's kind of the middle sister who, I don't know if she is the middle sister actually, but they're triplets. It's really hard to know. But she's kind of the more timid one who doesn't like to take sides. She wants to be an actress. And she's dating this guy named Max, and we don't really see Max at all, so he's not really relevant, but I remembered that fact. But they kind of confront dad and decide that they're going to go to New Pacific and figure out what happened to their mom because Mel said so. And all along the way, there are twists and turns and crazy stuff that's happening, figuring out what happened to their mom. Possibly she could possibly still be alive, but for some reason didn't contact them. Why didn't she contact them? What's going on here? Who's preventing who from talking to who? Why are there holes in their passports? What is going on? Why is their dad suspected of murder? There's so many things happening, but in a really clear way that I did enjoy. I didn't necessarily connect with any of the characters full throttle, but I did think overall the storytelling was there. I liked that when we got to New Pacific, it felt like a very realistic way that America would be rebuilding. We did have these doomsday preppers that their mom had been involved with, now kind of controlling certain supplies of water and also drugs. And then mom's younger brother, who used to be kind of like the failure of the family, is now kind of risen in the ranks in the political sphere of New Pacific. And so there's just a lot of these really random questions and mysteries and turns that happen throughout this between the three sisters. There's just a lot of plot twists. And I would have given this book a higher rating if When we did find out what was going on and there was the big confrontation, it cuts off and goes to epilogue, which I wasn't a huge fan of that because I wanted to see how the mess gets cleaned up, because we leave off on a very dramatic moment, and in for the rescue is the UK consulate, basically, and then everything's gone in epilogue. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. I wanted to see that. I wanted to experience those people like getting arrested and seeing the downfall of their empires and stuff. I wanted to witness that, and I was denied that, and I didn't like that. So the epilogue just kind of went, okay, fine. So that's my one real criticism of it that way. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. It was quite the ride. So if you want a book that does an interesting way of doing a post-apocalyptic world, go check this out. And with the mystery spiciness to it, kind of thriller-esque area, yeah, check this one out. It's out now, probably.